The adults' motivations aside, at least for us kids, these were supposed to be a fun couple of days where we cousins deepened our friendship. However, when we woke up, there was an unbelievably cruel reality waiting for us.
Big oof.
George, Aniki, and Jessica were crying over Shannon-chan and Kaneku's deaths.
Big oof.
Right now, everyone who was alive was gathered in the lobby on the first floor of the guest house.
I don't think we've seen this room ever before.
I was just gonna say, this is new. And there were 12 of us. Unbelievable, right? There were 18 up until yesterday. Excuse me. And in one night, a third of that number had lost their lives. My agitation had finally settled down, and along with my lack of sleep from being woken up so early in the morning, I was beginning to feel like this was just a little unreal. I wanted to think that this is some kind of bad dream. My cheap escapism kept telling me that was true over and over. Maria had gone back to sleep in the sofa Auntie Rosa was sitting in. Rather than her having nerves of steel, she probably genuinely hadn't had enough sleep. The adults were grasping members of Grandfather's collection of short-barrel rifles. Apparently a remnant from the period when he was obsessed by westerns. There were 4 identical guns altogether. Were there always 4? They only ever had 1.
I think this is the first time they checked in here for guns.
Yeah, probably. Those had been split up between the 4 siblings, Uncle Kraus, Auntie Ava, my dad, and Auntie Rosa. Paper boxes filled with bullets lay on the table in the building, and the siblings were silently loading their guns.
Wait. This is the first time we haven't actually seen the bodies. Like, we didn't see them discover any of the bodies except for Shannon's.
And they didn't even show us Shannon's body.
Oh, we have Virgilia. Retired Endless Witch and Beatrice's master, made proper use of the endless magic and dedicated her life to the happiness and smiles of people. Taught Beatrice the endless magic and retired believing that Beatrice would devote herself to people in the same way.
Nope. As well as being Beatrice's master, she was also the consulting mage of Beatrice's old home. For this reason, Virgilia interacted with her in the manner of a servant. It is said that this was responsible for causing Beatrice's egotism and excesses.
Oh, can we not go to the human side? Oh, there we go.
Oh, doesn't say that she's dead.
Who, Shannon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say that any of them are dead.
That's weird.
Huh.
I wonder what that's about. It's always the toes. Kinzo's always getting burned.
Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a reason for that. Have we actually ever found Kinzo's body? Wait, last episode, did we ever find his body? No.
Well, I mean, he was lit on fire, so there wouldn't really be much, right?
That counts as burned. Literally, every episode his body's been burned.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, in the furnace, and then
lit on fire.
Lit on fire.
Yo.
So, what if the furnace is the actual... is the, like, reality part of the world, and then Beatrice setting him on fire in his study is, like, the magic side. Like, they're both accomplishing the same goal, but they're just doing it in different ways.
Maybe, but another question is, why is he always being burned? Like, why is he the only one that's been found in friggin' ashes? There must be a reason.
My immediate thought is, like, religious. Like, burning in hell for the things that he's done. Because there's a lot of religious, not only symbolism, but, like, direct mentions in this series, so...
Alright, but you're thinking... They already did this. Just for the sake of this, you're thinking magic here.
Not necessarily. At least based on the furnace, I don't think was magic. That's pretty explainable to put a body in a furnace.
But you're thinking when you brought up he got burned because of religion.
Yeah. I don't think that's magic.
Well, that's something that would be the other side of reality. Maybe there's a real reason he got burned, like...
I see. So you're putting religion on the magic side.
Why would somebody burn a body?
Get rid of evidence.
And what would they be trying to get rid of?
With Kinzo specifically?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
I thought you were leading that along with you were gonna actually say something that would, like, blow my mind.
They might be trying to get rid of something, you know?
It could be. It's worth taking a gander at.
Because, put it this way, if it had been a bunch of different people, you could just say maybe like if it had been a person getting burned each time, you could just say, oh, maybe the killer just likes throwing a body in a furnace or burning a body every time they commit murders. It doesn't matter who. But the fact that we've seen Kinzo getting burned every time means that whoever this killer is sees Kinzo and decides to burn him. There's a reason for it.
Interesting. It's something to think about.
多子症は珍しくない病気だと聞いたわ。王子掛けの大好きな方なんでしょ？どこかで両足の指の数が自分と同じな遺体を手配したかもしれない。
Maybe they can get a hold of his will and see if he wanted to be cremated when he died or something.
Maybe.
バカバカしい。そんなこと何のためにするというのですか？
普通の人にならわしもそう言うわ。しかしあのお父さんや桐江さんの話も全くの口頭無形とは言い切れんのやないか。
少子体が身元の確認が難しいと。歯型とか骨格とかいろいろ調べる方法はあるはずさ。警察が調べれば一発で身元なんかわかるに決まってる。
問題は警察より先に電話技師が必要だという点だがね。
この台風じゃ船は来られないでしょうね。なら明日になるのかしら。おそらく明日の9時にもう一度船が来てくれるでしょう。そこで警察に連絡できると思います。私たちもそして犯人も、つまりは台風が通り過ぎるまで。
Like, what if there was something on the body that the killer saw and realized they couldn't let anybody else see?
Maybe. But what would be an example of something like that?
I don't know. Like, I can't think of anything right now.
I wonder if maybe it has to do with no, never mind.
Can we see the people dead now?
Good question.
No, they're still alive in there.
Just from our parents' conversation, you could probably figure out the general gist, but let's explain the situation anyway. First, early that morning, in various places throughout the mansion, a total of 6 corpses of grandfather and all the servants had been found, one after another.
There we go. Yep. Alright.
In appreciation for his many years of service, Genji shall be permitted to sleep in the VIP room.
Murder weapon is assumed to be a gun or a spear-shaped object. Huh. Gun or a spear-shaped object.
For Shin in the parlor, whose view of the rose garden was beautiful on sunnier days. The chapel for canon, even after death, keep on protecting the place important to the Lord. He wanted to gain Kinzo's favor. The room next to the study is appropriate for him. The seldom used guest room on the second floor was her secret napping spot. Yeah, we got him. We got Goda.
I don't know, I'm just looking to see, like, his face is covered up, but we can tell it's him.
What did it say about Kinzo?
Like, oh, forgot.
There were no signs that he fought to get out of the incinerator. It seems reasonable to think that he was burned after he was murdered. Too bad this time. Game over right at the very start. So, again, in the boiler.
Yep.
In the incinerator.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just kind of makes sense, you know, what they showed us of Beatrice magically burning him in his study. That's not the reality of what happened. That's gotta be, that's the magic 50%, right?
Yeah.
First, grandfather had been fed to the flames in the boiler room and was completely burnt. The servants were found dead, each locked in one of the various rooms throughout the mansion onto which magic circles had been drawn. The cause of death for the servants was uncertain, but according to Dr. Nanjo's diagnosis, there was a high likelihood that they had been stabbed by something like a spear, or possibly shot by a gun. That's why the adults had started arming themselves with the rifles. And what made the situation even more chaotic was that the telephone lines were out of order. It was unknown whether lightning had caused them to break down or whether the culprit had destroyed them.
Wait, 1 second. Sorry. Kinzo was just burned like a few, like sometime during this chapter, right?
Yeah.
By Beatrice.
During the night.
Now, chapter 2. Chapter 1 was when we found him in the incinerator. Chapter 2, what happened to him? Didn't he survive till the very end?
Yeah. I think he did. Or close to it. Because he, like, went out and met her and she... No, she didn't kill him. Was he the final sacrifice, or is he one of the people that would have gone to Purgatory?
He might have gone. He might have gone to the Golden Land. He was playing chess with her.
Right. Yeah. No, wasn't that this chapter?
Oh, that was this chapter, yeah. Last chapter, Battler was called up, and Battler walked in.
And they were playing chess?
They might have been playing chess.
I think they were. That sounds right. My memory is just really bad right now, sorry.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, in any case. So until tomorrow morning, when the typhoon would pass and the boat would come, we would have to protect ourselves. After all, Rokenjime was now isolated by the typhoon. And just like how we were stuck on the island, so was the culprit. It seems that the adults had stayed up the whole night, spending the whole time holding the family conference in the mansion's dining hall. And even so, this crime had occurred in the mansion. So right when the adults had been getting worked into a frenzy over money, the murderer had been killing under the same roof. Aunt Nanzuki said that they were strict on locking the doors and windows at night, and yet some suspicious person had entered the mansion. The adults had decided that the inside of the mansion was too large to be safe, so they had pulled out the guns and moved to the guest house where we had been. Which brings us to the present. George Aniki and us others begged to see Shannon-chan's body, but the adults refused point blank, saying that we must not until the police arrive. That wasn't just because they had sealed all the rooms to preserve the scene. After all, the culprit who had killed 6 people had wandered about that mansion. The Ushiromiya family right now, the mansion which should have been their home, was like a danger zone. Danger zone! That an unknown murderer had entered. Get some Kenny Loggins in here. It makes sense. I mean, the mansion is vast. There are plenty of blind spots and dark places, and it's just too vast to guarantee absolute safety with this number of people. In contrast, the Gästehaus is a much smaller building than the mansion. 2 stories tall. Number of rooms? About 10. Apparently, it had originally been constructed to serve as a boarding house for when the island was to be turned into a resort. So it's easy to grasp the entire structure and easy to guarantee safety. That makes it a good place to hole up in. And There's an extremely high likelihood that this mass murder of 6 people is a game, because the culprit had proclaimed that in a letter. I heard that a Western-style envelope with the family crest, just like the one Maria claimed to have received from Beatrice yesterday, had been found in the boiler room where grandfather's corpse had been discovered. This was what the letter said. So that there will be no misunderstandings. The game I seek is whether or not you can solve the riddle of the epitaph, not whether or not you can catch me. If you do not solve the riddle of the epitaph, the pitiful sacrifices will further increase in number. It would be more wise to spend your time solving the epitaph than searching for me. If no one can solve the riddle of the epitaph, no one can survive. If a person appears with skill enough to solve the riddle of the epitaph, I will give them all the gold in the Golden Land, the Ushiromiya family headship, and all of my power. I was the one who succeeded the Ushiromiya family headship from Kinzo-sama, and I look forward to seeing who will receive the headship from me. Beatrice the Golden.
That
bitch.
seems rather formal compared to the other letters.
Yeah, it's less biting too. Like usually she would be like making snide remarks and like Ora, Battler. This riddle of the epitaph was that thing.
That thing?
What? That's a weird line. Oh, I like that. That strange epitaph, written in the same place as the portrait of the witch, displayed in the hall of the mansion. Grandfather was the one who ordered that it be written, and the person who solved it would supposedly be given the family headship or the hidden gold or something like that. Ever since it was first displayed there several years ago, all the relatives, despite making fun of it in the open, had secretly been challenging that riddle in private.
Had secretly been challenging.
Please fix grammar.
Hadn't secretly been challenging.
Doesn't work. It's definitely a typo.
It is.
However, up until today, no one had solved it. We had once again been told to solve that unintelligible riddle. I'm messing myself up now. And this time, we had been threatened that if we didn't solve it, we would all be killed. If this wasn't a game, what would you call it?
This is definitely focused on solving the riddle. I gotta admit, this chapter is.
Mm-hmm. It's because they've been neglecting that for the past 2 episodes.
Yep.
The bold opinion that we should search the premises for the culprit did come up once. However, there was a good chance they were armed and wasn't necessarily only one of them. And while they might have been able to kill more than 6 people, they had stopped at 6, for now. In the end, the opinion that we should avoid carelessly antagonizing the culprit and hole up in a safe place while we waited for the police to arrive won out. After the adults had carefully checked that the doors and windows in the guest house were locked, they set up camp in the lobby. And as they fingered their guns to distract themselves from the tension, as long as that's the only thing they're fingering, their expressions showed that they were already fatigued from this long day, which had still barely begun.
I was gonna say, that's a weird line.
It's an interesting way to put it. There was nothing that I could do. Now all I could do was be taught how to use a gun, to prepare for the off chance that something would happen which led to an excess of guns. That's the way. Just obediently stay there, me and the rest of you. I mean, duh. It's the epitaph. She's always gonna follow the epitaph. Right?
This song, this is the Canon going crazy song.
Oh, is it?
Remember when the first time we saw Canon put up his sword?
Energy sword?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's coming back to me. That's good. I hadn't thought of that.
前回も前々回も屋敷に精通しマスターキーを持ち歩く使用人たち全員は 常に最高順位で疑わしい人物だった。前回のゲームの例えばジェシカの密室がいい例だ。
ジェシカ。
使用人が犯人であることを認めさえすれば、あんなのは密室でも何でもない。
故にあの子はそこを真っ先に切りに来た。あなたがやがて逃げ込むであろう退路を真っ先に塞ぎに来たのでしょう。
ベアとはすでに赤で、この島には19人以上いないと宣言している。それはつまり諦めろってことだ。もう俺は18人の誰かを疑わざるを得ない。
あの子はその18人の駒を全て奪い切った上で、存在しないはずの19人目として降臨し、あなたに自らが魔女であることを認めさせる手で来るでしょう。魔法を見せつけることで強引に屈服させる恫喝的手法がもはや通じない以上、あの子にさせるのは成功法だけなのですから。
上等だ。もうハッタリは通用しねえぜ。
気をつけて。まやかしは魔女の最も得意とするところ。あの子が何を言おうと、あなたが信じる真実を決して脅かすことなどできないのです。
Interesting.
それを忘れないで。
お、そう何度も同じ手が通用してたまるかってんだ。出てこいよ、ベアトリーチェ。おっ始めようぜ。
すでに勝負のテーブルに着席しておるわ。
This is a nice track.
Is this the
Have we
first
heard
time?
this before?
Maybe once.
I don't think I've heard it before.
Then maybe this is new.
It might be new.
わらわの手番もすでに終了しておる。
マダムを敵に回すことになるとは厄介ですね、お嬢様。手の内をだいぶ読まれますよ。
構わん。お師匠様の指し手などすでに時代遅れの皇帝よ。恐るるに足りぬわ。あなたが私の教えた古典以上の何をさせるのか期待していますよ、ベアトリーチェ。いいのか、バトル。魔女を否定するそなたが魔女を軍師につけても。
Her fucking eyes.
くだらねえ挑発は無用だ。こいつは俺の相談役、いやセコンドだ。ガチンコで殴り合うのは俺とお前だってことには何の変化もない。
We haven't seen Baron Castell in a while.
No, we haven't.
She's technically the first advisor.
That's true.
分かってる。よちよちのお前には自転車にも補助輪が必要だろう。
She's such a child.
好きにするがよ。
That's why Virgilia calls her child that child.
さあ始めろ。お前の手番だ。
事件現場の再構築から始める。
Yo!
さっさと頼む。
That's a jam.
Dancing pipe!
That's a jam.
Dancing pipe!
I'm ready.
最初の遺体発見はシャノンから屋敷内の一階客間より発見されました。
It's dancing pipe! This song gets memed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
扉と窓は施錠され密室を構成していました。
ベアトに説明要求。密室の定義を再確認。
密室の定義は内外の出入りが一切隔絶された室内を指す。当然内外からの一切の侵入脱出はおろか干渉もできない。それは包括的に隠し扉の否定、外部干渉の余地一切の否定を含む。以後この定義をベアトリーチェの密室定義と呼称する。
細部確認。外部干渉の余地の定義とは。
外部から釣り糸やら長くて細い棒やらなどを使って直接的に干渉するあらゆる余地だ。つまり扉や窓にはそのような小細工を混ぜる隙間すらもないと判断せよ。
どうかな。仮に隙間がなくてもリモコンなどの電波は干渉できるはずだぜ。
Interesting.
よかろう。電波など それに類する遠隔操作技術も干渉不可能であると。
Let's see it in red.
I know, right?
100万には内線電話もあるぜ。それと連動した仕掛けは遠隔操作にはならねえのか？
電話はすでに使用不能だろう。
She's getting impatient.
ああ、もう面倒だ。それも含めようぞ。直接間接のあらゆる方法で室外よりの密室内への干渉は不可能だ。
声やノックは密室に入らずに外部から干渉できるはずだぜ。
密室であっても声をかけることやノックは不可能ではなかろう。意思疎通の可否は密室の定義に反しない。
Somebody rigged a trap in the room.
外部との伝達方法までは拒絶していると定義できないんだな。
そうなります。
了解したぜ。シャノンちゃんの客間はそのベアトリーチェの密室定義を満たすってんだな。
その通りだ。
密室定義了解した。ワルキリア続けてくれ。
はい。シャノンの遺体はマスターキー1本を所持。発見した親族がこれを回収。
Master key obtained.
今回のマスターキーの本数は
前回と同じ。
3 sets, right?
各使用人が1本ずつで5本だ。
ってことは密室にはまだならねえってわけさ。マスターキーはまだ4本余ってる。シャノンちゃんを殺害後4本の鍵のいずれかで施錠するだけの話だ。
その通りでございます。そして見つかったのはマスターキーだけではありませんよ。
はい。遺体のすぐ傍らに紋章入りの養鶏封筒が。中に手紙はなく2階客室の鍵が入っていました。
Interesting.
2階客室の鍵、それは2階客室の扉をマスターキー以外に唯一開けることができる鍵だ。
問題ないぞ。そしてマスターキーと違いその一歩。
つまりある特定の部屋を開けるにはその1本しかないというわけです。
これはつまり次は2階客室へ行けというメッセージなのか。となると大人たちは2階客室へ移動したな。
はい。2階客室の扉もまた施錠され魔法陣が描かれていました。親族はシャノンの遺体脇より入手したその鍵によって室内にて熊沢の遺体を発見。室内は密室。定義はベアトリーチェの密室定義に準拠。熊沢はマスターキー1本を所持。これを親族が回収。そしてシャノン同様に遺体の傍らに養鶏封筒を発見。中には3階控室の鍵が。親族は3階控室へ移動。
そして3階控室の扉にも魔法陣でさらに施錠されていて。
はい。室内にてゴーダの遺体を発見。室内は密室。ベアトリーチェの密室定義に準拠。ゴーダはマスターキー1本を所持。これを親族が回収。そしてこれまで同様に紋章入りの養鶏封筒を発見。中より2階貴賓室の鍵が。親族は2階貴賓室へ移動。
なんなんだこいつは。てめえ何を企んでやがる。
そう睨むほどのものでもあるまい。密室ではあるがそれを開けるマスターキーはまだ何本もあるではないか。律儀にマスターキー以外の固有の鍵も進呈している。
気に入らねえ展開だぜ。だが展開は読めてきた。この調子で6人続いてくってわけか。
はい、その通りです。2階貴賓室にて源氏の遺体マスターキー1本を回収。地下ボイラー室の鍵を。
It's a circle.
地下ボイラー室
It's a washroom circle.
I'm not even gonna try and think about this before Battler starts trying to solve it. You gotta get all the information.
This is a legit locked room. What the fuck? There is.
礼拝堂にてカノンの遺体を発見。マスターキー1本を回収。1階客間の鍵を発見。以上で6名の遺体発見の再構築を終了します。
All the keys were found in the locked room circuit. How do you get in or out of that circuit?
I don't know, man. I really want to see what Battler has to say about it, though. I feel like it has something to do with the envelopes, but... Because, like... I mean, you can put a key in an envelope and slide it under the door, but I don't know how that... That doesn't really solve anything that we're trying to solve.
手紙の内容はすでにご確認の通り、気分の謎を解くよう。あら。
ってことは、なんだよこれ。最後のカノン君のところに、一番最初のシャノンちゃんの客間の鍵があったってことは、密室が6つ、呪術つなぎになってるってことなのか。
その通り。
Well, all you need to do is break one of them.
Right.
それぞれを解錠する鍵はそれぞれ隣り合う密室によって閉じ込められている。つまり6つの密室が1つの巨大密室を形成し、その中に全てのマスターキーと固有鍵全てを閉じ込めてしまっているのだ。
This means none of the servants are the killer, because all of them, almost one of them, we never saw in red that any of them are dead though.
Do the doors lock from the outside? From the inside? Or both? I would assume you can lock it from the outside, right?
Yeah.
So, they unlock the door, put the body in there, the body that has a master key on, then they slip the other key in an envelope underneath the door.
I don't know if they could go under the door.
I would assume they're like any other door. Like, there's a little bit of space, right?
But it said nothing can interfere with the room externally or...
Oh.
And like, I don't know, where they found the envelopes on the bodies. And I don't know if they could...
Did they?
I think so.
Or were they just in the room?
I feel like if they were by the door, it would have been evident.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're probably right.
ちなみに6つの部屋の扉や窓はいずれも普通。
Are normal.
オートロックのような鍵を使用せず施錠できるような仕掛けは存在しない。どうだよ、綺麗なもんだろ。
ですからお嬢様、そのあたりに品がございます。
When Runaway rebuked her, Beto stuck her tongue at him shamelessly.
悪い悪い。ついついバトラと遊んでると上機嫌になってしまうのでな。それでバトラ。
That's love.
お前の指し手はどうなんだよ。特に思いつかないんなら、わらわがヤギたちに遺体を運ばせて。魔法にてすべての扉を封じるところを特別に見せてやってもいいんだぜ。
No, don't let her show you anything.
And I won't believe it.
好きにしろ。お前の主張する魔法説として拝聴しとく。だが、俺はお前の主張とは全く異なる人間説をお前の主張に一切干渉されることなく主張することができる。それはつまり、お前のざれ言に耳を貸す必要は何もないってことさ。好きに魔法の杖でも振るって七色の魔法で扉を閉めるところでも実演してろってんだ。隣でそのうちガマの油と万能包丁の実演も始まるぜ。ワルギリア
All-purpose kitchen knives. Kitchen knife pyramid scheme. Oh my gosh.
That's great.
全員は間違いなく死亡してるのか。誰かが死んだふりしてんならこんなの3つでも
I was reading about one of them the other day actually called Cutco.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
南條は全員の死亡を確認。
I'll always remember that scene in The Office where
I haven't seen The Office.
Oh,
I haven't seen The Office.
oh,
I haven't seen The Office.
it's kind of like a, I don't know if
I've seen a few scenes from The Office.
did you like the scenes that you saw?
I thought
You
some
thought they
of them were
funny?
fucking crazy and ridiculous.
It gets a little shark jumpy as the seasons go on, but like it's really good.
All right, I'll try it.
I would recommend.
I'm like the only person on Earth who hasn't seen it at this point.
Or at least the only person on Earth that's like our age that hasn't seen it.
It's impossible to deny the possibility of a wrong diagnosis.
She just wants attention. She has these moments where she just kind of like gets like a little jealous or like upset when someone yells at her or when Battler yells at her. Like she has these human sides every once in a while. It's interesting.
It's because she's 50% witch and she's 50% human.
Maybe.
And 100% concentrated power of will.
15% luck. I don't remember the ratio.
Neither do I.
Well, it was 50% concentrated power of will, 100% reason to remember the name.
Yes.
Which, all in all, I think it adds up to 200%.
50% witch
Doesn't.
And 50% human is 100% reason to remember the name.
The name Beatrice.
Yeah.
She's also like 100% tsundere, so.
And she's about 400% or infinite witch or endless witch.
Can you have an infinite percentage?
No.
Yeah.
Infinity is not a number.
It's a concept.
Yes. Moo.
Moo. Mall.
お嬢様はチェスを挑んでいるはずではないのですか？
でもそうだな。
でも She's being kind of like she's pouty.
警察未介入の現場につき人間側からの検証は限界があります。厳密な死亡確認のため復唱要求することを推奨します。
よっしゃ、ここで叩くぜ。復唱要求だ。被害者6人は全員死亡している。
お嬢様、復唱要求が出ておりますよ。
おい、ぼんやりするな。復唱拒否か？ここからが戦闘開始だ。
What is going on? What's going on here?
Huh? Looks like she zoned out for a second.
Mm-hmm.
金蔵、源氏、シャノン、カノン、ゴーダ、熊沢の6人は死亡している。
Holy shit! None of them are actually. That means none of them can be the killer.
Yeah.
They're all dead. That narrows it down to 12 people.
Yeah.
Huh.
Assuming he's okay with suspecting everyone else.
死んだふりって王道はまず否定されたな。
もはや手加減などせぬぞ。好きなだけ来るがよ。次々斜め切りにしてくれるわ。
続けて復唱要求。6つの部屋には誰も隠れていない。俺たちが認識していない人物の存在を否定してみせろ。
6つの部屋には誰も隠れていない。
よし、これで6人だけの缶詰は確定だな。そして死んだふりもない。
どうするどうする。
He's got something good up his sleeve.
どうしようもないであろうが、おとなしくわらわが 的な魔法で鍵を自由自在にするところを膝
寝言言ってろ。さらに復唱要求だ。6人の死亡は即死である。
即死。ほう、どういう意味だそれ。犠牲者の一人が瀕死の状態で部屋まで逃げ延び、内側から施錠して密室を作った後、息絶えた可能性もある。
Seems kind of like a stretch, but
密室殺人のポテンですか。致命傷を与え、しばらく後に死ぬことを確実とした場合、犠牲者が殺人者から逃れるために部屋にこもり、施錠後に死亡したなら、予期せずして密室が構成されることはあり得ます。
interesting.
その可能性を否定するには、赤き真実にて6人は即死であったことを。
Is she gonna be able to do that?
よかろうよかろう。赤き宝刀にて切り伏せよう。6人は即死であった。即死とはつまり攻撃を受けて即座に行動不能になったという意味だ。まあ完全な意味での死亡には数秒もしくは数分をかけたかもしれん。だがいずれにせよ、自らの意志で何かの行動を取ることは完全に不可能であった。その意味において即死と断言できる。
ここまでは古典の確認だ。お前との密室対決はここからだぜ。犯人は内側にいないなら外にいる。そして外からどうにかして彼らを殺したんだ。
何を血迷うか。密室イコール外部からの殺害は不可能であろうが、故に魔法殺人しかありえない。
いいや違うね。殺人は現に起こったイコール密室ではないが正しいのさ。お前がどう煙に巻こうと、これは断じて密室じゃない。密室に見えるだけのまがいものだ。
That's true. There's no such thing as a locked room.
Right. It's both locked and unlocked all at once, right?
Haha.
室内には犠牲者しかおらず、それ以外の人物は室内には存在しておりません。そしてお嬢様の密室定義により、外部からの遠隔殺人も明確に否定されておりますよ。
待ちな。遠隔殺人の定義は広大だぜ。何も部屋の外から釣り糸を引っ張って室内の犠牲者を絞め殺したとか、そんなのばかりじゃねえ。例えばトラップだって立派な遠隔殺人だ。
トラップ？
She's like, oh yes, this is a great suggestion. I will shoot it down now.
But would, assuming that they did use traps, would it be gay?
You're not funny.
それは何か。
Oh.
一例だが、彼らにあらかじめ決められた部屋に入り、内側から施錠して自ら密室を作り出すように指示を出す。そして室内には彼らがそれとは知らないトラップが仕掛けられており、それによって彼らは殺された。どうだ、これなら矛盾は生じない。
問題ありません。現状と整合します。
当方も問題ありませんよ。お嬢様の密室定義にも抵触しません。
All she has to do is deny it.
なんだその間抜けな推理は。いずれの室内にも不審なものは発見されなかったぞ。そのトラップはどのような形状なのか、どこに隠してあってどう作動したというのか、それを6人分、客間、客室、控室、貴賓室、ボイラー室、礼拝堂の6つで説明してみせよ。どうだ、できまい。
反論拒否。それを説明する必要はねえにもかかわらず、俺の主張は揺るがない。
なんだと？
What are we not living in a world where we can claim things without evidence?
ベ
Apparently.
アトリーチェ、悪魔の証明ですよ。そのトラップの形状を説明できないことも
Doesn't mean that it didn't exist, right?
トラップ否定の理由にはなり得ない。
うまい。 強引ながら見事な一手です。
こいつすっかり手慣れおって。
チェック。発見できていない殺人トラップ X によりこの密室殺人は成立可能だ。
赤き真実にてそのチェックを切る。6人はトラップで殺されてはいない。
トラップの定義は
あれだ。犠牲者が勝手に引っかかって発動するやつとかだ。それだけじゃない。
She's
リモコンで発動するとかタイマーで発動するとか、そういうのもろもろ全部含めたやつだ。
仕掛け人が直接関与することなしに殺という定義でよろしいかと思いますよ。
どうだ切り返したぞ。人間にこの密室が破れてたまるか。
お前も勝つために必死だな。
どういう意味だ。
お前は自分の存在を俺に認めさせようと必死に戦ってる。今まで俺は一方的にお前にいじられてるだけだと思ってた。しかし実際は違った。お前もまた俺の切り返しに必死に抗い自分の存在を示そうと戦っている。俺はよ今ようやく実感してるぜ。
This isn't torture inflicted on me about whether I'll submit or not.
俺とお前の対等な戦いなんだ。さて面白くなってきたぜ。6人は密室で死に部外者は中に誰もいない。そして外部からはちょっかいは一切出せず、これまでの俺だったらこれはもう魔法の仕業しかありえねえだろうと思うだろうよ。このタイミングでお前におかしな魔法を実演されたらそれがお前の得意戦術だ。俺の指し手を全て迎撃しきり俺が万策尽きたと膝をつく。心の防御力が弱るその瞬間にこれ見よがしにおかしな魔法を見せつけて。
昔から短気な性分で勝ちの目が見えると焦る悪い癖は相変わらずです。
お嬢様はお預けができない性分ですから。
うるさいうるさいぞバトラの手番であるぞ。そなたが進めたトラップの駒はわらわが赤にて切り捨てた。次は何を繰り出すのか存分に来るがよい。
おっトラップまで潰され一見こいつは完全な密室犯罪に見える。だからこそここでチェス盤をひっくり返すぜ。
来たなそなたの得意技よ。
スペシャルテクニック。
何をどうひっくり返せるというのか見せてみろ
ああ見せてやる。いかにして密室の中の6人を外から殺すかを考えるんじゃない。ああダメだダメだ全然ダメだ。そうさどうやって外から殺すかじゃない、どうやって中で死んで密室にするかなんだ。そうさこれが答えなのさ。犠牲者6人の中に犯人が含まれていたと考えればこの密室は極めて容易に説明できる。
何バカな。その6人は死んだとはっきりわらわは赤で言ったはず。
She didn't say that they died at the same time.
死んだのは6人、犠牲者は殺された5人、もう1人は自殺だったと仮定すればこの密室は打ち破れる。
確かに犯人が最後の密室に自ら入って自らの命を絶てばこの連鎖密室は成立します。
Which doesn't make sense logically, because we know that the murders are supposed to continue, but in the sense of always having something to counter Beatrice, the logic doesn't really matter as much in terms of the rest of the story.
Yes,
you know,
you're right. We just need to explain it.
Yeah,
it doesn't need to be right. We just need a possible explanation.
Yeah.
Unless she says in red that it wasn't a suicide.
Right.
実に力強い一手。
まあ動機がないとは言い切れません。例えば金蔵は余命があとわずかと宣告されています。残りわずかの生を惜しまず自らの死をメッセージとしたという動機づけも不可能ではないかもしれません。お嬢様、こちらの手番ですよ。
まさか死者の尊厳を踏みにじってまで犯人を生み出してくるとはな。こやつ血も涙もない男。
Where's the red?
She's really the one saying that?
Where's the red?
死者を犯人に仕立て上げるこの非道なる一手は前回のゲームでお前がカノン君を陥れた一手だ。
Give us the red.
この手でお前に一矢報いることがゲームは異なるがあの時のカノン君への手向けだ、今俺はあの時のカノン君の無念を晴らした、
ここで手を休める義理はありませんよ。全員の死因が自殺でないことを確認すべきです。復讐の要求を推奨します。
ああ、だが自殺なんて甘い言い方じゃ置いてやとこいつで詰めだ。復讐要求
My body is ready.
6人は全員他殺である。
これは痛いですね。
Ooh.
ああどうしたよ。6人が殺されたんだろう。最も単純な一番最初の前提の確認でしかないぜ。復讐できねえのか。
復讐を拒否する。
Or he didn't bring this up. I was thinking about traps. A trap. She already said it wasn't a trap. But what if it wasn't a trap, but an accident?
Could be. Depends on how they each died, though. Like
they all accidentally died.
Someone set a steak on the floor and a banana peel at the doorway, and every single one slipped and
That's true.
Impaled themselves on the on the stakes.
Okay, never mind.
I'm not trying to like
never mind.
Shit on that.
Never mind.
It was an interesting thought.
ここでの復讐拒否はデザインと同じ意味だぜ。チェックメイト。6人の中に犯人がいて密室構築後に自殺を図った。以上だ。
待て。いや、そう言う。
Wow.
望み通り赤を行使するぞ。
I have a feeling she's not going to say what he actually wants her to say.
6人は誰も自殺していない。
It was an accident. I'm telling you.
Oh.
One of the 6 killed them and then accidentally killed themselves in the room.
Yeah.
They went into the room and then accidentally they
in some way he doesn't have to prove
like okay
how they did it.
Okay, what if they killed the 6, they went into the room, accidentally slipped, banged their head on the corner of a desk and died.
It is possible. Or had a heart attack or something.
Unlikely, but or a heart attack.
Yeah, I mean Hideyoshi.
Manjo.
I think you've got it. I think that's the one.
なんだよ。言えるじゃねえか。だがおかしいな。
Why would she deny that she couldn't say it at first?
なんであんなに狼狽してるんだ。
Yeah, and why
Because
she
she
so
didn't say
flustered?
homicide. Valor said none of the 6 murders were homicides. She just said none of them were suicides.
That's true. Yeah.
She didn't say all of them were homicides. Don't let this go, Battler. Don't miss that she didn't repeat what you wanted her to say.
He's gotta.
要求した復讐が改ざんされていますよ。
Yeah.
There you go.
ごまかされないように。
ダメみたいですよ、お嬢さん。
そうか、6人全員他殺とは言ってない。6人全員自殺にあらずとこいつは言い換えた。ということは他殺でも自殺でもない人間が混じっているということだ。
So an accident.
ああ、分かったぜ、分かった分かった。これが真相だ。6人の中に潜む犯人 X は5人を殺害後密室を構築した。そしてそこから何かの方法で逃れるか隠れるかするつもりだったんだ。ところが事故った。
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
本人すらも想定しない理由により事故死し、自ら望まない密室殺人を構築したんだ。これで決まりだぜ、ベアトリーチェ。チェックメイトだ。
その程度でわらわが追い詰められると思うか。この程度でリザインを叫ぶものか。
What are you gonna say? It wasn't an accident either?
I don't know.
その愚かなチェックメイト、わらわの赤き宝刀にて何度でも
She says that, but the look on her face says that she's not gonna do it in the way that she says she is.
失礼。当方、ここで作戦タイムを所望いたします。しばしのご猶予をお許しください。
正当な要求です。
There were no. She was probably gonna say there were no accidents, so maybe it was natural cause.
Yeah, maybe.
Like a heart attack.
So basically, she's just been narrowing it down for them.
俺も今まで散々そいつをもらってる。
It would make sense if it was Kinzo. You know, he's old. He supposedly didn't have much time left.
Maybe it was poison.
It could be poison, but that would assume homicide.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kinzo, if it was Kinzo doing it, I mean, he's an old guy, killing that many people.
He could have just died of natural causes.
Like, that's a lot of exertion for an old guy who's dying, so.
Yeah, he could have died in natural causes and just thrown himself in the incinerator. It wasn't Kinzo.
Yeah, it wasn't Kinzo. You're right. I forgot about the incinerator. He's like,
I'm on my way down anyways. Let's
like,
just burn myself
I'm just gonna
as I'm going.
incinerate myself. It's fine.
See, here, in order for it to have not been a suicide, he would have had to turn on the incinerator. Say the incinerator had like a conveyor belt going down it. He would have had to turn on the incinerator, get on the conveyor belt,
have a heart attack on the conveyor belt or something,
going into the incinerator,
and then go into the incinerator. That's funny.
Fuga, fuga, fuga.
I love seeing her struggle.
So is Mattler.
He's really into that. As Beato grew thoroughly panicked and agitated, Runaway had quickly covered her mouth with his hand and suspended the game. He then pulled Beato away in the name of a strategy conference.
Well, we know this, that they stopped her from saying it because saying it would have been bad for her.
Right. So like we were saying, it probably would have narrowed things down for him even more. Beato normally behaves elegantly, but she actually has a really short temper and gets mad easily. Her normal intelligence falls silent when she starts getting agitated.
おそらくあの子に頭を冷やす時間を与えたのでしょう。あの子はあなたのチェックを外すことに意地になり、いくつかの大駒をやすやすと見捨てようとしていた。第一の番など所詮は前哨戦。あの子は引き際を誤りかけた。
つまりどういうことだよ。俺のチェックメイトは成立したのか。
あの子は赤を宣言しかけていました。チェックメイトにはまだならないでしょう。しかしおそらく頭を冷やしたあの子はリザインを宣言するに違いありません。
まさかあの負けず嫌いがか。
ええ、 負け戦は1秒でも早く兵を引き上げ、いかに損失を減らすかが肝要。難しいのはそれが負け戦であるかどうかを測ること。
Yeah, I mean, she still won last episode while having lost one of the games, so she can probably afford to lose a game.
She lost the battle but won the war.
Yeah.
やれやれ。つまりあと一息のところで逃げられたってわけだな。ビシッと俺がチェックメイトを決めてとどめを刺すって流れには。
でもこれはあなたの勝ちだと判断して良いでしょう。向こうはギリギリで大きな損失を踏みとどまったようですが、それでもかなりのダメージを与えたに違いありません。その傷の深さはあの子の狼狽ぶりから十分理解できたはずですよ。
だな。これ以上いじめたら泣き出しちまいそうだぜ。
As we talked, Ronove returned with Beato, who wore a meek expression. She didn't have the same bold smile as usual, but it looked like the blood wasn't rushing to her head anymore.
よう、お前の手番だぜ。次の一手は決まったかよ。
デザイン
だ。Nice.
この場はお前に勝ちを譲る。
Beato told me that frankly. It seemed as though she had taken a far-sighted view, as though saying, if you want to laugh, then laugh. It was a bit of a buzzkill, and I lost my desire to attack her further.
お前がリザインしたってのは結局俺の説もお前の説も互いが相手を否定できないイーブンって意味だからな。負けってよりは引き分けって意味で受け取っとくぜ。
気持ち悪い同情などいらぬ。この場はわらわの負けだと言ってる。そなたには雨に濡れた犬をさらに棒で叩く趣味があるというの。
ねえよ、お前と違ってな。
Oh.
Ooh. Ouch. Even though she ridiculed me horribly when I showed signs of defeat, she was so pathetic when it was her turn. I thought of her as a pretty unfair person, but I decided to act with dignity as a winner and accepted it. Beato had resigned. That was the only result of the first twilight. Beatrice couldn't counter my move of one of the six was the culprit and that the person had died in an accident. No, she probably could have countered it. But because of some strategic decision, she had given up. If I felt less like I had won and more like she had escaped me one step from victory. In chess, against witches, it is possible to battle onward solely using pieces called X, which don't need an explanation. Thanks to the devil's proof, I can create as many strange fictions as I want, and use them to fight in the argument. But that's only within the context of chess with a witch. In our human world, such an abstract story can't explain everything. The first twilight today was a chain of 6 locked rooms. It certainly may be possible for a human. Beato hadn't been able to completely deny everything. However, I don't have a clue who committed the crime, why and how they actually did it. I shouldn't say this having won, but I get the feeling that I would have felt less muddled if I had just been told right out by Beatrice that it was completely impossible for a human. Although I hide behind these abstract pieces called X, I couldn't deny that some kind of unthinkable, creepy intention had definitely pervaded this mansion. Yeah, no matter how you slice it, like, it's pretty dark. Whether it's magic or, you know, someone going around killing people.
No matter how you slice people, it's always pretty dark.
The fuck out of here. Get out of here. There's the door.
Alright.
Call it there.
What?
Are we...
Oh, it's that was the end of the second chapter. Do you want to do a third chapter? It's up to you.
Actually, you know, I think this is a good place to stop.
Think this is a good place to stop? Alright.
As long as you're cool with that.
Yeah.
Alright.
Next time on Umineko, I don't know what's gonna happen.
That's the fun of it.
That is the fun of it. Goodbye.